what is my role in all of this? What is my responsibility? To whom and what do I owe, right? In terms of my loyalty, in terms of my relationship, in terms of what I believe and what I don't believe, right? It really made me, it's one of those things that draws a line in the sand. Hey y'all, and welcome to Let's Talk Sis. I'm Shekinah, your host, and as we spend time together, I can promise you 3 things. I'll be honest, I'll make you laugh, and I won't hold back. Let's Talk Sis is your essential girl talk destination where you'll hear about life from the perspective of a Black woman in America, as our stories often go untold. I can assure you, while honest, we are a community for growth and love. Remember to like, subscribe, and share the podcast. Now sit back, relax, and let's talk, sis. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another week, another episode of the Let's Talk Sis podcast. Hey, welcome back. I don't know what the heck that was. I don't know. I got the nervies. Okay, y'all, listen, this is a safe space for Black women who are deeply emotional. Those of us who have not felt seen, heard, or valued know that we have room for you here, sis, okay? I am your host, Shekinah, and this is my absolute favorite place to be, so welcome, boo-boo, woo-woo. All right, and if you don't know, this is a community, all right? So I do want to hear from you, not just me yapping on the mic all day. I want you to be a part of the conversation. So if you have a timeline topic, a Let's Talk topic, or just a good old question you have for your girl, please send me an email at the Let's Talk Sis pod at gmail.com, and we will get into it, okay? The discussion will be had. Now, Let's Talk Sis is a brand all about promoting authenticity through conversation. We want our audience to heal, grow, and be inspired. So if you love what we're doing here, you can support the mission at Let's Talk Sis in a few different ways, all right? The first way is super easy, and that is engagement. I just need you to like. I just need you to comment. And if you have not already, please be sure to subscribe, okay? If you don't know what to comment, leave me a purple heart or a sparkly star emoji, but whatever it is, comments help with my engagement. And the more engagement I have, the better I do on the algorithm. And that is key for me to grow, okay? So speaking of growth, you can also support the podcast by sharing it with people you know, all right? This is a community, and I need your help to find the right people. And last but not least, you can support us on a monetary level by joining my Patreon, the Sisterhood. So for just $5 a month, you will have early access to episodes, a chance to watch the episodes live and be a part of the conversation in the chat. You'll also have exclusive access to events, exclusive access to conversations, and so much stuff, along with an amazing community of supportive women that we call the Sisterhood, okay? So you can head over to patreon.com/the LTS Sisterhood to join. You can join for free. There are a ton of benefits for joining for free. So if you're not sure if you're ready to spend the $5 yet, go ahead and join the free tier. I promise you it will be worth it, okay? Just know that every contribution from comments to cash really does help us go a long way. So I appreciate you for whatever it is that you decide to do to support us here at the Let's Talk Sis, okay, y'all, welcome back. Church announcements out the way. Let me drink some water. Whew, doesn't that feel good? Okay, if you haven't drank your water, go ahead and do so for today, okay? So with that being said, y'all, let's get into our timeline topic of the week. So I was just scrolling through my timeline, and I seen this post from a Bianca Goolsby, okay? Let's see what she has to say.
If we go down to the TikTok rabbit hole and you search under hashtag takeover, you will see takeovers all over the nation in different areas, in different spaces. And so this is something that is not new, unfortunately, and this is why I wanted to talk about it, because they were gathering and they were having these flash mob style large gatherings during COVID. I don't know if y'all remember 2020 when we had these curfews and we couldn't be out, but groups of children were out and doing the things. And I'm just like, so time check. It's 9:24 Eastern time. Do you know where your child is? Do you know what they're doing? Do you know who they're interacting with? Do you know?
Check their cell phone, know where they at. Who they texting, who they with? What app is that? Hey. Check their cell phone, stay aware. Kids need love and protection everywhere. Hey. Check their cell phone, know where they at. If something feel off, go check the facts.
Check that cell phone. Check that cell phone. Know what they at. Hey, that's a banger. Okay, listen, I need that for my man. I'm just kidding. Shouts out to Bianca Goolsby. Okay, I wanted to share that because I am not a parent. I'm an auntie. Okay, but I think that this is a different time and age. Okay, so I'm not trying to tell anybody how to parent their child by any means necessary, but what I do know is safety and protection and over precaution is typically better than not, right? We can't afford to assume anything in anybody's lives, especially not our children. And we as parents, as the adults, right, owe it to these innocent children to be what they might call invasive, right? Be what they might call nosy, be what they might call overly protective, because in times like this, when viruses are spreading, when unhealthy rhetoric, unsafe environments are being created, we have to more and more put up as many roadblocks for our children, as many bumpers, I'll say, not roadblocks, but bumpers for our young kids to help them stay on the right path. You know, the internet makes things so accessible. The internet makes information seem so valid. And I honestly don't believe that they are teaching kids the process of due diligence, the process of research, the process of verifying, the process of citing sources. So we believe anything we see the first time we see it because somebody typed it on a thing. Right? And so now we're meeting up with people we don't need to be meeting up with. Now we're involved in groups we don't need to be involved with, all because we were given too much freedom as a child. And I can relate to that in some ways, right? There are ways that parents and adults put, because you may present mature and you may present as if you have it all together and responsible as a child, there are these large assumptions that you will always make the right decision and you will always do the right thing. And I just want to encourage parents to never let your child slip through the cracks or get lost in the shuffle. Never assume that they will make the right decision all the time and that they don't need your guidance. Never assume that they're not looking for you to rein it in. As a teenager especially, we are gonna buck the system. We are gonna not agree. We're gonna tell you don't know anything. But what we're not gonna say, that I think we all long for, is someone to care about us. We want someone to check on us. We want someone to make sure we made it home safe. We want someone, it may not seem like it, but we want someone to want to make sure we're on the right path. We don't want people to just give up on us and say, oh, you were difficult. Oh, you never listened to me. We want our parents to keep trying, keep checking, keep, addressing things, because that shows us that you care in your own annoying parental way. So to whatever parent is listening to this and that may be struggling with their teens and maybe feeling like their teen doesn't listen, isn't going to give them any sort of anything, access, conversation, respect, whatever, keep going, keep trying. I'm sure it is hard, right? Come on down to the girls' night in and you can vent, you can let your hair down, you cannot be nobody's mama for a couple hours, right? But when you leave there and you have to go back and parent, keep going. I want to encourage y'all that, because I know it's hard and I'm sure it's difficult. But we got to keep our babies safe. We just really have to. So, enough of that. I'm going to have us, we're going to hear a word from our sponsors for this week's episode. Take it away. All right. Welcome back. Thank you to our sponsors. And y'all, please make sure you connect with those amazing, amazing opportunities. You support them. You support me. You support us. Okay? You support we. All right, y'all. So it's time for our Let's Talk topic of the week. Okay, this segment is designed for us to go deeper and have conversations and hopefully find the tools that we need to grow. Okay, so today is a little heavy, a little steep. And honestly, this has had me sad for a while now. The fortunate part, I guess, in batch recording my episodes is I only record once a month. And so I'm able to kind of process things and move through emotions and feelings and really kind of come to a point of what I want to say and how I want to talk about things. And this has been something that it's still weighing on me because it's not resolved. But it's sad. I found out, and I am going to have to be as vague as possible because this is not my personal information. But I just found out that some people in my family had been taken advantage of in a way that is unacceptable. In a way that is egregious. And it made me question, okay, what is my role in all of this? What is my responsibility? To whom and what do I owe, right? In terms of my loyalty, in terms of my relationship, in terms of what I believe and what I don't believe, right? It really made me, it's one of those things that draws a line in the sand, right? Either you stand on this side or you stand on that side. And if you on that side, promise we're not rocking with you. Y'all can connect the dots for that. And so it makes me think about protection. It makes me think about safety in our families, in my family in particular. I come from a matriarchal family. There are a lot of women in my family. On my mother's side, there are a lot of women. My grandmother had 15 children. I wish I would have done the math on how many. I got Aunt Marie, Aunt Patricia, Aunt Darlene, my grandmother. There were twins. I believe one of them was a female. I would venture to say it was about seven, maybe 7, 8, maybe something like that. About half and half, male to female. But then those women had a lot of women, and the men, had a lot of women. So there are a lot of women in my family. And the one thing that is clear is we are not a family of emotional women, sensitive women, soft life girlies. That is not the sentiment of a lot of women in my family. And circumstance, right? That's a lot of the reasons why we all are the ways we are, right? Circumstances. A lot of times, a lot of them weren't offered opportunities to lean into their softness. They're single mothers. They were responsible for raising families on their own. So that is the character of men in my family, of no accountability, right? Not many men. My father is an exception. There are a few fathers that are exceptions in that bunch, but most of them don't. They are not responsible for their children. I will say my generation, so there's my grandma, my great-grandmother, my grandmother, my mother. My generation, I will say, are the most active parents on both sides. Now, whether or not they with their person, I can't speak for that, but like, I have male cousins who I know take care of their kids. My brothers, I know they take care of their kids. So that has improved, but the generationally, but the emotional sensitivity does not exist in my family amongst the women or the men. There are not safe spaces to go emotionally within my family. And it really is challenging because there's so many feelings that come with this. One, it pisses me off because of that, people get taken advantage of, and they don't have anywhere to go, and they don't have anybody that they can talk to. They don't have anybody they can speak to about whatever the fuck is going on, right? And that pisses me off because Let's Talk Sis exists to promote conversation, to promote spaces, environments, people that you can talk to. Because it's the first step. We got to talk about it. We got to talk about anything before we can heal, grow, move on from anything. If you don't talk about it, if it continues to stay a secret, if it continues to stay something you're ashamed of, if it continues to be unspoken, it will never be addressed. So this platform exists so we can have conversations. We can say the things. That has been my story since day one. I have not had space and place to be all of me, authentically me, because I am the emotional one in my family. I will cry. I will say something's not right. I will speak up for the truth. I don't want to lie and scheme. I'm not going along with the okie doke. it feels weird to me not being honest. I cry because our family is all together and I'm happy. I cry because you done told me to shut up and that hurt my feelings. I feel things. I feel everything often. And I often feel what you're not expressing, right? And so it has made me realize that is my responsibility in my lineage, in my legacy. It is to be, I don't know the word, y'all, but work with me now. It is to be the emotional, resource or portal, or I don't know, but I have some responsibility in transmuting this emotional energy from my family, through my family, in some kind of way. There's a reason why I feel the way I feel in comparison to the way my family feels, or the way they've expressed that they feel, right? They probably feel and are more emotional than they let on. But that, again, is from circumstance, and I'm sure that they have their reasons. But there's a reason that I am designed the way that I'm designed. And I am learning in real time what to do with that, how to process that, what that means for me. And one thing I have had to do in a method of self-care is accept and recognize that everybody has their own story with God, right? Everybody, God has, he cares about everyone. So the trauma, the tragedy, the heartbreak, the disrespect, the violations that everyone has to go through, it is in the story God has written for them. Because I feel so, it just makes me so sad that people have to go through these things, that these experiences even have to happen to such young and innocent people, right? And that causes such a depressive state for me that I have to remind myself, because I'm like, what can I do? How can I help? I need to do something. I need to save. I need to call. There's something more I have to do, right? I have to remind myself, I have to continue to do the work God has told me to do, because he got them in their story. And what I mean by that is, I have been tasked with creating sanctuaries for these women. My role in the work that needs to be done is to create that safe space where they can come and find what they need. That is a sanctuary. When you come into a sanctuary, you should find somebody that can pray for you. You should find somebody that can maybe make you a meal. You should find somebody that can give you a hug. You should find some music that is soothing to your soul. You should find some words of encouragement. You should find some community. You should find a place to relax your nervous system. You should find an opportunity where you don't have to be anything other than what you are. And so that is what my job is to do. That is what God has told me to do. Create as many of those in his name as possible, so that when he does whatever he does to point them in my direction, they have somewhere to go. When his story, when his work is to a point in their life where they need somewhere to go, where they need that community, where they need those words of encouragement, where they need that music, they have somewhere to go. And that all things are working for the good of the Lord. All things. And those who serve his kingdom. So if you are in a similar position and it feels heavy and it feels sad and it feels like, damn, this is not enough, there has to be something more. right? There should be no reason that these people have to go through this. I should be able to do this. I should be able to show up. I should be able to, right? If you're feeling like that or relating like that, like, I get it, friend. I really do. Jesus, I'm crying off my makeup. But it is just so important that we don't allow that to discourage us. That is a trick of the enemy for you to feel incompetent and for you to feel unimportant and misplaced and misaligned. It is designed to get you and knock you off your square. Because what the enemy knows is that if you keep doing this work, if you keep setting up these sanctuaries, it's going to be hard to avoid them. I'm everywhere. God's light is in every one of these places. And that is his downfall. That is how the enemy's kingdom is going to crumble, right? More and more people coming to Christ, more and more people understanding who they have access to, who they are, who's designed them, how they are designed. That is the worst thing that the enemy can see happen. So when you're feeling like that, I just really want to encourage you and me to keep fucking going. Keep going. Keep doing the work. Take the time to be sad and to feel and to allow those emotions to move through you. Don't resist them. Don't fight them. I spent a couple days in bed. I didn't do much. I was not productive. But I got back up. I remembered who I am and what it is I'm here to do and who I'm serving. And they don't deserve for me to just be sad that something happened to them, right? They deserve for me to get my ass in the studio, get my ass in the lab, and get to it, right? So that's what we're doing. Let me read some comments and dry my tears here. It says, that's a goal for a lot of women I've crossed paths with, including family, to dismiss and not talk about the emotions because tears are seen as weakness and they prefer to be known as strong Black women. Yes. Conversations must be had about feelings and challenging topics, yet it seems easier to talk about talking about it than actually doing the work and discussing these things. Absolutely. Yeah. And to that point, you know, when it comes to what is my role in all of this, where is my responsibility in protecting my family, protecting the generation after me and next to me, it is having those conversations. It's putting it on the table. We are not those of old who don't challenge things that don't sound right to us. We are not sweeping everything under the rug. We are finding language, tools, resources to say what needs to be said, implement the boundaries that need to be implemented, regardless of who likes it or not. We are standing, that line I mentioned, we're standing on the side of right, regardless of how hard it is, regardless of what it costs us, regardless of anything, because that is the right thing to do. It's really very simple, right? So we have to continue to do what God told us to do, to do the work, set up the sanctuaries, whatever your mission, whatever your calling has been, that's your responsibility to continue to do that and to call it out. To have it doesn't have to be confrontational. You don't have to be rude about things. You don't have to be disrespectful. Hell, put that shit in Claude and tell them, hey, I want to tell this bitch to shut the fuck up talking to me because every time I see her, she get on my nerves and her breath smells like ass. But I can't say that because it's my cousin and I love her. What should I say instead? Okay, put that down to the chat, put that down to the Claude and tell them to rewrite it. There's too much access to information, to my point earlier, okay, for us to be out here maintaining and living in these flawed and dysfunctional relationships. Ask the questions, have the conversations, provide the resources, check the people who need to be checked. Stop letting shit slide. It's not cute, it's not fun, it's not funny. Right? So that is why we're here. Okay? That is why Let's Talk Sis exists. Sorry, they laughing at my AI prompt. I was dead ass, okay? But anyway, that is why we're here. That is why Let's Talk Sis exists, so that here we can have those conversations. If you can't do it at your family dinner table, I get it. Everybody's not ready. Here we can have those conversations. Here you can find the language to have the conversations. Here you can find the people who've had the conversations that you need to have, right? So time's up for sweeping things under the rug and not addressing things. Time's up for that, because we have this community. It is here for you all. For exactly those reasons, to encourage the hard conversations, the fun conversations, the growth conversations, whatever the conversation is. That is why we are here and Let's Talk Sis, okay? So, before we go, y'all know I got to give y'all a conversation challenge, okay? So, this week, I want y'all to think about what is something that needs to be said that you haven't said. And I want you to challenge yourself to find the language to say it, okay? You don't have to just say the first thing that comes to your mind. Maybe you don't even have the words. But with AI, with the help of group chats, with the Reddit, with the Facebook groups that you can be in anonymously, with Google, with the Encyclopedia Britannica, the synonym book, what is it? I can't think of the people who do the synonyms, but them, okay? Way too many resources for us not to find the words to have the conversations and say the things that we need to say. So your conversation challenge is, what have you been avoiding? What needs to be said? And how can you find the words to say it? All right. So thank y'all for joining us. And if you want to find more Let's Talk Sis, you can connect with us on the Patreon. You connect with us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Our TikTok and Instagram handle is at Let's Talk.sis podcast, okay? Pull up on us over there. We do co-working live on Thursdays, and just so much more stuff is happening in the LTS universe, okay? And if you have not already, please be sure to subscribe so that you know when we go live, when you know when new episodes come out. And I love y'all. I will see y'all back here next week. Bye.